we'll get into the upcoming event, the LA. So, uh, what's your predictions with the teams that are there? Who do you think's going to pull it out?
I think FaZe is going to easily win.
Yep.
Easily win. No Huntsman, no problem. That's going to be like essentially the saying of this entire tournament. No Huntsman, no problem. It's the subliners. I see nothing coming out of the subliners.
God, no.
Roker, I would like to see Minnesota, I think, and FaZe in the finals. I feel like that would be the best one. I'll give Dallas a shot, but I don't see enough in Dallas. Dallas really got to turn that stuff around. And then the two home teams, God, if you're going to root for the Gorillas or Optic Gaming, then you better buy a one-day ticket because they're not going to be there on Sunday.
No, they're two of the worst teams there.
It's just that's just the way it is. And of course, they're headlining this 6 p.m. game. But it's just. I can see it's funny when we're talking about this new tournament or the tournament coming up, if you want to call it a tournament. It's like what we just talked about a little bit earlier when it talks about attendance and how they're going to spark attendance, right? It's like they tried to solve their own problem here. So we're going to get the finals of Atlanta in the first on the first match on the first day, 1 p.m. Saturday, FaZe Mutineers. Just kick it off the right way. They want to get all those FaZe fans in early.
Yep.
So it's like they're like FaZe. It's like, come on, we're gonna do FaZe. It's just like get everybody in the door. You should see more people at the beginning because FaZe are gonna be the first ones to play, and then you got the Roker. And it's just like, okay, that's good. Dallas will get people to stay in their seats. Then everybody goes home at 6. Nobody wants to see Optic against the
Yeah. Yeah, that matchup right there is going to be just god awful to watch.
It's like they're trying to set it up as like the Lakers against the Clippers, but it's just like ends up being like two of the worst teams playing against each other. It's the toilet bowl, but that's fine. It's their home event. They can have fun with it.
Yeah, I'm not expecting much from this upcoming weekend because I think this is, I wouldn't say the worst teams that are in the league, but Optic is definitely the worst. I think we can agree on that.
I tell you what, let's go round by round right now. Let's do the bracket, and let's you and I discuss what do you think the map counts are going to be. So for round 1, we're going to start. Actually, no, let's start in Group A. Group A, round 1. That's going to be Minnesota against Seattle. What do you think the map count is against those two teams?
I'm going to say a 3-1 Minnesota. I think Seattle will just randomly turn up in a domination or a hard point. I don't think that they're terrible at search, so I don't think they'll win a search. And Minnesota's search is really, really good.
That's true. I can't see Minnesota losing. Yeah, Minnesota can't lose that.
Yeah, I don't see them losing that at all just because I think Minnesota is one of the top teams. Because
in the same breath, though, I wouldn't be surprised if they lost. It just seems luck does not follow them. They seem to just shoot themselves in the foot. They can go toe-to-toe with the best and then still lose 2 games in they're out day 1 kind of thing. But I cannot see Minnesota losing this one. I'm gonna go 3-1. I'm gonna go 3-1 Minnesota.
I think Seattle will just randomly squeak out a map, and then Minnesota will just dominate and win that.
All right, so we've got the second round or the second game of Group A is going to be the marquee matchup, the matchup of the century: the Gorillas against the new OG. We'll call it that. We'll say that the new OG. What's your map count there?
I'm going to say it's going to go 3-2, and I'm going to pick the Gorillas to win that.
I'm going to go 3-2, but I got Optic. It's got to happen at some point. They got to win one.
I mean, yeah.
There's talent there. God help. But pray for Dashy. Get a hashtag. Get that trending. Hashtag pray for Dashy. That dude is literally probably one of the top 10 guys in this game. And it goes to show you that one man does not make a difference in Call of Duty. You need more than one. You can't just be LeBron James out there and carry a 5-man Call of Duty team. It just doesn't happen. So Dashy, I feel for you.
Yeah,
but I think he gets one.
You think Optic pulls that one out?
I think he pulls it out. I'm gonna go 3-2 Optic.
Okay.
All right. It's going to go to Group B. That's going to be Atlanta and Florida.
I think this time Atlanta pulls it out 3-0.
I think they pulled it out 3-0 last time too.
Did they in the finals? Yeah. I thought it was 3-1
in the finals.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm gonna say 3-1 Atlanta. I think Florida will get them in the S&D. For some reason, Atlanta, even though their S&D doesn't look great, like they win it. I don't have faith in their respawns, but I think that they somehow pull out a game in S&D, and I think that Atlanta is going to win it 3-1.
Yeah, I think Atlanta definitely pulls it out. I think it'll be tough. I think it'll be like the hard point will be like 250 to 220 or something. I think it'll be close.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you saw the finals in Atlanta, it looked like Florida was going to pull out map 1 in the hard point. Like they had, I think, a 30-point lead going into like it was on the map with like the cave map. God, it escapes me right now, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It goes back to reset, and I think they had a 30-point lead, and nobody got on hill. They had them spawning old, but nobody got hill, and then just Atlanta bullies them. Just absolutely bullied them. And then they rotate early, and then they just poop on them in the cave. It was ridiculous. And I think Florida can get a map off of them, but they're going to have to play, and they're going to have to play well.
They'll have to show up to win that one. I don't think they can squeak it out.
Like they had chances. It wasn't as lopsided. It was a 3-0, but it wasn't exactly like crazy lopsided. I think they lost the S&D like 6-4.
Yeah.
I think they lost the domination by like 10-15 or something like that. It wasn't like a blowout, but FaZe definitely comfortably won it.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm actually gonna pull up what the scores was in Atlanta on the finals just to see how close it was between them and Florida. If my computer will load.
It was a lot closer than it actually felt in a quick 3-0.
Yeah.
From my remembrance of it.
Okay, so the first hard point was kind of a disaster. It was 250 to 138.
Oh, never mind. Then I was thinking about the Huntsman when I had that story again earlier. Yeah. That was a Huntsman one. I bet.
S&D was 6-4.
So I knew it was 6-4 in the S&D. I knew that was close.
Yeah. And the domination was 148 to 137, which was super close.
Yeah, 148, 137 was close. So yeah, the second two were close, but they definitely got absolutely pooped on in the hard point. The Mutineers they don't rotate, dude. They don't rotate early at all.
Yeah. But so what would happen after that?
Last one is going to be Dallas against the Subliners in New York.
Yep. I think Dallas takes that 3-1. I think New York will slowly figure out what their game is. I don't think it's going to happen this event, but I think it'll slowly come.
I have no idea what to expect out of New York, to be honest. I don't think they're terrible, but I also think they're better than LA. I'll just say it doesn't matter which team you pick. I think they're better than LA.
Yeah.
But Dallas. I think Dallas gets the sweep on that one. I'm gonna give Dallas the 3-0 against New York. I think Dallas will figure it out. All right. So that gives us in the Group A losers bracket. That'll give us Seattle. I have them against the Gorillas. You have them against Optic.
Yeah.
So going with you, Seattle versus the Gorillas, who you got?
Seattle versus Gorillas. I would go with Seattle.
Actually, you had Gorillas winning, so it'll be Seattle against Optic for you.
Yeah, I would pick Seattle.
Yeah,
I think Optic goes out first thing. I just don't have much hope for them after seeing them play like these past few events.
Yeah, and I would have Seattle over the Gorillas. I think that Seattle just takes care of business right there. I mean, like, for me, it is Seattle's going to meet back up with Minnesota here in a hot minute. So then we have, in the losers of B, we have Florida against the Subliners in New York.
Yeah, I think Florida takes that 3-0.
I think Florida takes it 3-2.
3-2.
I think Florida has a knack for letting people linger. It's just like they're not finishers. They win, but it's almost like, I mean, it was like miracle comebacks, essentially. Like they're down and then all of a sudden they figure it out, and then, I mean, even they were losing it bad. It looked like they were going to get 3-0'd by Optic Gaming, and then they just flipped the switch and came back. So I think that Florida make it interesting, but they will beat New York. I'm going to say 3-2.
3-2. I could see that too, because Florida's one of those teams, like, when they play well, they play really well and they're really good. But sometimes they just have to flip a switch and they're like, oh shit, we're losing. We need to do something.
All right. So now we have, going in to round 2, essentially, for the winners of Group A. That's going to be Minnesota. I have Optic Gaming. You have LA Gorillas. Do you have Minnesota beating the Gorillas?
Yes.
Yeah. What's the score on that one?
3-0.
3-0? Quick, just a quick 3-0?
Yep. I think that one won't even be close.
Nice. So for me, it would be Minnesota against OG, and that's a 3-0. That's a 3-0 for me. I can't see Minnesota dropping a game against Optic Gaming.
Yeah.
All right, and then we would have Atlanta against Dallas. I think we both had that. So essentially, it's what we would expect out of a final, but it's coming out. It's coming right now. So Atlanta against Dallas. Who you got?
I'm gonna say Atlanta 3-2. I think Dallas is gonna show up to play because they weren't at the last event, and I think they're gonna be hungry to win. So I'm gonna say Atlanta pulls it out, just because I think they're the better team, but I think Dallas is going to come to play, so I think it's going to be a 3-2.
I'm going to say it's going to be 3-1 Atlanta. I think Dallas gets 1, but I just they don't have the slaying ability. It's like Atlanta just reminds me of the golden years of Optic, where it didn't matter when you rotated. They're going to bully you out of the hill. They're going to bully you out of a spot. It's like, they know all the spots. They know the rotations. It's when you can literally care less about when you rotate because you're just going to win all your gunfights.
Yeah.
That's just ridiculous. And I think that's what Atlanta is. And I think they're just going to, it doesn't matter who Dallas have, it's like the former golden boys of gaming in Call of Duty when it comes to Crim 6 and Clayster. It's just, I don't think they're enough. These kids on Atlanta are just too good.
But I will go back and say, if it's going to be a 3-2, then Shotzi and Illy have to show up to play, because it obviously showed, like, especially back in Minnesota, they did not show up to play and they got waxed by
it was terrible.
Both the teams that they played. So if it's going to be a 3-2, Shotzi and Illy's got to show up.
Yep. And I mean, it's just another one of those questions, man. How many players does it take? How many good players does it take to win a Call of Duty match? We'll have that discussion later.
Yeah.
But all right, so I've got it. You've got it 3-2 Atlanta. I had it 3-1 Dallas, or excuse me, 3-1 Atlanta over Dallas.
Yep.
That makes the second round of the losers bracket. You know how much I'm excited about the second round of the losers bracket. We talked about that earlier.
Oh yeah.
We're going to have. It looks like I have Optic Gaming against Seattle, and you have Seattle against the Gorillas.
Gorillas.
Yeah. So who do you have?
I have Seattle 3-1.
Yeah, and for me it would be Seattle's gonna win. Like that ain't even a thing. It doesn't. It literally matter. It does not matter at all who comes out. It's like, Minnesota takes care of Optic. Optic's gone after that. Seattle's gonna move on. It's gonna be a rematch against Minnesota and Seattle.
Yeah, with the round 1 matchups.
Yeah. So for Group B, we had Dallas losing to Atlanta, and we had Florida moving out of round one losers. So we have the Mutineers against Dallas in loser round 2.
I'm gonna go bold and say Florida wins this 3-2.
As much as I'm a Florida fan, I think Dallas wins it 3-2. Like I really want yours to be true. It's like when I look at like the stats and stuff of Florida, I don't know how they're so successful. Like nobody goes positive. It's like it's so weird. It's like I don't know. It's like they rotate players that are going to do good. Like you can't depend on any one player like you can on most teams. It's like one player will go off. Like I remember watching the finals of Atlanta, or like the last 2 plays of Atlanta. Like the best player on Florida is Pristini.
100%.
Pristini disappeared.
Yeah.
Like against Atlanta, like he was like their worst player for a while. And it's just like they don't have that consistent performer, and it's like they win, but then you wonder like how did they do that?
Yeah, and you wonder like how in the world did they even get here?
Yeah, it's like people will step up at random times, but they never have everybody step up. And they don't have that one leader that you can always depend on. It's like, okay, Scumpy's going to break this hill. Krim's going to get the log shot. Celium's gonna come in here and he's just absolutely gonna like get a 3-piece and they're gonna break. Kind of, it's like they don't have that guy. Like I can't literally sit here and say Pristini is gonna break it. I can't say it. So I have no idea who could do it. I know they got talent and they win, but they just got too many inconsistencies for me to like just continuously say like, oh yeah, they're gonna get by because Call of Duty gods smile upon Florida.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that they come out and win that one. I'm gonna say that Dallas is gonna.
You set up the rematch, or no? Yeah, you set up the round 1 rematch. You've got Florida against Atlanta.
Atlanta. Yep.
I've got Dallas against Atlanta for which technically a round 2 rematch. So we go back over to Group A. So now we've both got Seattle coming out of the losers, and it's a round 1 rematch against Minnesota. So do you think Seattle come back after playing one extra game and get Minnesota, or are you going to go Minnesota?
I'm going to go Minnesota again. Yeah.
So you think the Rucker get it done?
Yep, I think they get it done.
Okay, what's the map count?
I'm going to say 3-1.
Oof.
I think that's what I said at the beginning, but I'll go 3-1.
I'm gonna go 3-2. I think Seattle get an extra one, but I do think Minnesota takes it. But I think Seattle are going to. I think there might be something about getting out that like working the kinks out, playing one extra game. But I don't think we're gonna get a Cinderella story here. I think Minnesota's gonna take that.
Yeah.
And then you have the championship Atlanta matchup coming again. In round 3, Atlanta versus the Mutineers. Yep. Has anything changed?
No, I think Atlanta takes that.
Did they 3-0 them, or is it going to be close?
I think it'll be a 3-0. That'll be one of the first matches on Sunday, most likely, if it happens. I think Atlanta just comes out swinging.
Yeah, and I have Atlanta Dallas in a rematch from round 2. I still think Atlanta comes out. Should I say, is it going to be 3-1 and 3-2? It's bothering me. Like I want to give Dallas more credit, but they haven't shown that they can compete yet. I'm gonna go 3-1. I'm gonna go 3-1 again. Same score as the first time they played them. I'm gonna go 3-1 Atlanta. So we both have, since there's no well, I guess there wouldn't be any rematches in this anyway because the loser bracket team aren't gonna win. Yeah. So we both have Atlanta and Minnesota in the finals. How do you shape that up?
Atlanta and Minnesota.
Yep.
I'm going to say it'll be a 3-1 Atlanta.
I'm going to say it's 3-2, but I'm going to go Atlanta as well. Like I just don't think anybody can beat them. I think Minnesota's got the best shot, especially with the Huntsman not there. If Minnesota doesn't make it to the final, I don't think anybody gets them.
Yeah, I don't. Especially out of these groups, because these groups are really weird. Because Group A, like if you look at Group A, you're like, okay, Minnesota is going to take that group easy. But then you look at Group B and you're like, yeah, Dallas has a shot, but it's kind of iffy with them right now. So,
yep. All right. So Atlanta will be crowned your champions again. Once again. You got to go take Los Angeles by storm. They're going to flood the city red. Be throwing up Atlanta phase gang signs all over the place. Just be careful where you flash those things. You can get a little dicey down there in LA. But all right, so Atlanta is going to be your champion in this, and I feel like that's just going to be said over and over and over again until like we get Dallas, the Huntsman, and Atlanta in the same freaking tournament.
Yeah, I think that'll be the game changers when we see those three kind of battle it out.
Yep.
Yeah, I just think Atlanta is just the best team, especially in this group of teams. Like I think it's no question.
It's just ridiculous some of the players they have, man. It's everybody's just so good. It's hard to pick out one guy from Atlanta, and that's hard to say. I feel like even during those Optic games, you could figure out or you could pick out the guy that you thought was probably the biggest difference maker when it comes to like the entirety of that team. I just think that they all are just so interchangeable right now for FaZe. Yeah. It's just they're so well rounded. Everybody gets kills. Everybody does their part. I mean, you got Simp, Breezy, Celium. It's just like I don't want to play any of those guys.
Yeah,
I want him. Get them all away from me. It's like you put 2 on them. It's like let's just say that if for some reason Clayster and Crim6 disappeared, you put Simp and a Breezy on Dallas. I think Dallas is all of a sudden becomes a contender. It's like these dudes are just too good, and they've got at least 3 of them.
Yeah, I just think that team is just unreal. Like Simp and Abizi is like the ultimate duo. Like there's like I remember seeing it was one of the first matches of Modern Warfare that I even watched. Simp almost dropped like 45 kills in a hardpoint, and I was like, holy crap! Like how? And
it's the G Fuel, man.
Yeah, Abizi in the finals in Atlanta was like going off, and like I just think that team is just unmatched. And it's so crazy because they're all so young. Like you can't pick out a veteran in that team, and they're just unreal.
Yeah. Next time on Arden's special podcast, the name of which we are going to be creating later, we should talk about how do you break in to the CWL? It's not like there's a draft.
Yeah.
It's like for all of you young fans out there that are going to your tournaments and making a name for yourselves, how in the hell do you get paid? It's just an endless supply of free agency and politics to get into that, but we can talk about that on the next one.
Yeah, that sounds good. And then when we come back on the next one, we'll talk about what happened in LA when this.
I'm sure that one of us got it correct.
Yeah. I'll probably like print out a bracket or something and write down both of our predictions, and as I'm watching, kind of fill out and see how we did. I'll probably do that. probably tomorrow.
That'd be good.
But I'm excited to see what happens. I mean, I'm excited, but then again, I think I know what's going to happen just because of the teams that are here
right
at this event. But it's been good. We'll come back probably next week with one talking about what happened, and we may talk about the next event after that, which I don't even know. Is it Dallas?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So we'll come back and talk about the next upcoming event and the teams that are there and what we thought about LA. So anybody that tuned in, I know there'll be a few. We appreciate it, and we were planning to do this, before every event and after every event, and kind of give our input. We're not, we're not Merc or Maven. We don't know the ins and outs of all this, but
of course we do. We're better.
We'll figure it out as we go. But if you have any questions, comments, or anything, put it in the comments. We'll be sure to try to answer those in the next one upcoming. So we appreciate you watching, and we are out.